Okay, I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this one because this is kind of a controversial topic. As an executive coach, I strive to help my clients achieve financial success in their career. And yet some Christians feel that it's sinful striving for financial success. They see it as materialistic and worldly. And on the other hand, those that end up hiring me feel like it's their duty and responsibility to be the very best they can be in their corporate world to achieve as much success as possible, with the focus of giving God the glory. Hi, my name is Shawn Sommerkamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. So some Christians are conflicted about striving for financial success. And the reason why is because we know of people that get caught up in the worldliness, pursuing fame, falling in love with money, wanting wealth for their own selfish ambition and comfort and pleasures. So to address this controversial topic, let's consider the passage in 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 10, known as the Prayer of Jabez. It says this, "Now Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my border, and that your hand might be with me, and that you would keep me from harm, that it may not pain me. And God granted him what he requested." There are few scriptures that speak as directly and plainly about financial ambition than this prayer of Jabez. He was asking for God to expand his land. And we know very little about this man Jabez from the line of Judah, named by his mother more honorable than his brothers. He prayed a bold prayer of faith that God would expand his borders. And he asked it in such a way that he wouldn't have to suffer a lot to achieve it. And then lastly, we know God granted him his request. So the question I love to ask my potential clients and current clients is, when was the last time you asked God to expand your influence, your earnings, your career advancement, your overall professional financial success? And if you're one of the believers that think it's sinful to succeed professionally and financially, you would never think to utter such a prayer. And in some ways, I get it. I understand. Like I mentioned earlier, there is evidence that people let it get to them. It does sometimes corrupt Christians, of course. We've seen it, as I said before. In fact, we are warned by this in Paul's first letter to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 6. But those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a snare and many foolish and harmful desires, which plunge men into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all sorts of evil, and some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. That is scary. There is no getting around it. So how can we strive for financial and professional success without falling in love with money? Well, interestingly, in that same letter to Timothy, in the same chapter, Paul tells us how. 1 Timothy chapter 6, 17 through 19 says this, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way, they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life." This is very clear and solid direction. Be generous. Be willing to share. Do not put your hope whatsoever in the money itself. Recognize that it's God who gives us what we have and for our enjoyment. Putting our hope in money is uncertain, and we see this truth that he writes to Timothy acted out at the very beginning of the church in the book of Acts. It says in Acts chapter 2, verses 44 through 45, All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. There's the answer again. It's exactly what Paul had written to Timothy. Timothy leading the church in Ephesus. Same advice that they were already doing, 30, 40 years before. We commit to using our wealth to glorify God and serve our brothers and sisters in church. It is that simple. And we can do it when we don't put our hope in wealth. If we start putting hope for future comfort, for ease, for money to help us avoid the pain, we're not going to want to help our brothers and sisters. We're going to be stingy with it. Wealth does not make us better than others, or more important, or more safe, or more desirable. Wealth does not provide for us. It does not keep us from pain. God is the one who does it. And yes, if not viewed properly, wealth can absolutely be a stumbling block, and it has been for others. We don't strive for success for our own good. It's not so that we can get the latest Mercedes, a $5,000 watch, a 5,000 square foot home, a big giant, 80, 110 inch TV. That's not why we do this. So the tough question will be, how willing are you to take the earnings that you have and share them generously with the rest of the church? Remember, God still provided the blessing to you, and He provides to them, you, to help them. Jabez was said to be an honorable man. It is a very honorable thing to take what we've been given, the overabundance of blessings that we have financially, and share it with others. We honor God above ourselves. We honor others above ourselves when we are generous with what God's given us. I believe and coach that this is the place to start. The Prayer of Jabez, 1 Chronicles 4:10. Before you make your riches, commit to God to giving it away, and then pray the Prayer of Jabez. Commit a solid portion of it. Just maybe something like, and this is what I've said to many of my clients, 50% of the increase that you make after you start praying this to the church to help the poor and the needy. And special note, like I like to do, you don't have to be wealthy to be generous. You can be generous today, right now. It doesn't have to be when you're wealthy. We don't want to wait until we're wealthy to be generous. Let's expand our land. Then let's sell it. And let's expand our land again. And always giving God the glory. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation, and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.